What if the size of your success in life had nothing to do with luck, talent, or even intelligence, but everything to do with the size of your thinking? Imagine standing at the edge of a vast horizon. One path stretches short and narrow, confined by fear and doubt. The other path stretches wide, limitless, inviting you to step into something greater than you ever imagined. David J. Schwartz's timeless book, The Magic of Thinking Big, is not just about positive thinking. It is a manual for expanding your mind, reshaping your vision, and unlocking the quiet power that determines how far you will rise in life. Schwartz begins with a bold claim: success requires no more effort than failure. The difference lies in the scale of your thoughts. Small thinking keeps you trapped in cycles of hesitation and self-doubt. Big thinking lifts you above excuses, above fear, above the invisible ceilings you've built for yourself. He tells us that belief is the seed. What you believe about yourself deep down, without pretension, sets the boundaries of your achievements. If you believe you're destined for small outcomes, you will unconsciously sabotage yourself to stay within that limit. But if you believe in larger possibilities, your mind begins to work in their service, searching for ideas, strategies, and opportunities to bring them alive. Think of the countless times you've limited yourself with phrases like, "I am not qualified," or "I'm not ready." Schwartz exposes these for what they are: excuses dressed as reasons. He insists that people fail, not because they lack ability, but because they surrender to excuses. They shrink their dreams to fit their fear. He invites us to flip this. Grow your dreams to fit your potential. Refuse to rationalize mediocrity. Replace "I can't" with "I will find a way." When you change the conversation you have with yourself, you change the story of your life. But believing big is not about empty confidence. It's about cultivating habits of thought that align with growth. Schwartz tells us to think like a leader before we are one, to act like a winner before success arrives. He writes that respect, initiative, and responsibility are not rewards, they are starting points. The way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you respond to setbacks, all of it communicates whether you expect small outcomes or big ones. People notice, opportunities notice, life notices. Fear, Schwartz warns, is the enemy that shrinks dreams. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish, and fear thrives in inaction. The antidote is movement. When you act in the face of fear, you shrink it. When you hesitate, you feed it. Imagine a person who dreams of starting a business but never makes the first call, never sketches the first plan, never speaks to the first customer. Their fear grows until it becomes a wall. Now imagine the same person making one small move each day, calling one prospect, writing one page, testing one idea. The wall of fear begins to crumble. Success is not a single leap. It is the courage to keep moving forward when fear begs you to stop. Schwartz also challenges the way we think about others. Small thinkers belittle people, gossip, highlight flaws. Big thinkers admire, respect, and learn from others. He reminds us that success is not a solo climb. It is a network of relationships shaped by generosity, encouragement, and genuine interest. If you treat people as though they matter, you build allies who will lift you higher. If you treat them as obstacles, you build walls that isolate you. The magic of thinking big is not only about your vision, but also about enlarging the space you create for others. Time is another battlefield. Schwartz observes how many people drift through life waiting for the right time to act. They imagine a perfect tomorrow while wasting the present. But the right time never comes. The right time is always now. Big thinkers know this. They seize the moment, not because conditions are perfect, but because progress begins only when you do. They understand that imperfect action beats perfect hesitation. You do not need to have it all figured out. You need to begin. He introduces a vital mindset. See yourself as important, not in a shallow, egotistical sense, but in recognizing that your work, your life, your presence matters. When you carry yourself with dignity, when you treat your role, whatever it is, as significant, you create ripples that expand your influence. Schwartz tells the story of people who approach their modest jobs with pride and seriousness, only to rise to greater opportunities because they projected importance. Small thinkers dismiss their role as meaningless. Big thinkers see every role as a platform for growth. The book insists on guarding your environment. Your mind absorbs the attitudes of the people around you. If you surround yourself with negativity, criticism, and defeat, your thoughts will shrink to match. But if you immerse yourself in optimism, ambition, and vision, your thoughts expand. You cannot afford to feed your brain with the toxic diet of complaints and cynicism. Schwartz urges us to choose our companions with care, to protect our mental space as fiercely as we protect our homes. Fill your environment with people who think big, and you will begin to think bigger too. Schwartz emphasizes action over intention. He warns against waiting for inspiration. Action breeds inspiration, not the other way around. Each time you act, no matter how small, you build momentum. That momentum fuels confidence. Confidence fuels bigger action. The cycle continues. Success is not built on sudden bursts of brilliance, but on a steady rhythm of decisive action. He invites us to live with the bias for doing testing, building, creating, learning in motion. Big thinkers are doers. Another truth he exposes is the danger of self-limiting assumptions. Many people underestimate themselves, thinking their intelligence, background, or resources are insufficient. Schwartz dismantles this myth. He shows that success is more dependent on attitude than aptitude. The world is filled with people of average intelligence who achieved extraordinary results because they refused to think small. They enlarged their vision and acted with persistence. Conversely, history is filled with brilliant minds who achieved little because they allowed doubt to suffocate their potential. Intelligence is not the gatekeeper. Attitude is. Throughout the book, Schwartz gives us practical strategies to grow our thinking. Visualize success in detail. Speak with conviction. Set goals that stretch beyond comfort. Take deliberate steps to expand your circle, your knowledge, your impact. Use positive language not as shallow optimism, but as the architecture of your future. He urges us to stop selling ourselves short. If you want promotion, think like a leader now. If you want success, speak as though it is already shaping your future. If you want respect, give it generously. The principle is simple. Think big, and your actions will rise to meet your thoughts. The climax of his message comes down to this. Your mind is a factory that produces outcomes according to the size of your belief. If you feed it small ideas, it will manufacture small results. If you feed it expansive ideas, it will generate expansive results. The quality of your life is tied to the scale of your imagination. There is no magic trick, no hidden formula, only the persistent decision to think beyond limitations, to replace excuses with determination, to move in the direction of growth even when fear whispers otherwise. And so the journey closes with a call that echoes long after the pages are shut. Do not let your life be governed by small thinking. Do not settle for a fraction of your potential. Enlarge your vision. Believe that bigger things are possible for you, and then act with courage to make them real. The magic of thinking big is not reserved for the gifted few. It belongs to anyone willing to claim it. The question is simple. Will you? If this message stirred something in you, do not let it fade into the background noise of your day. Begin now. Pick one area of your life and choose to think bigger about it. Challenge one excuse. Take one bold step. Reach for one possibility that scares you. Let that be the beginning of your expanded horizon. And if you want more journeys into books and ideas that can reshape your life, stay with us here, because your next step in thinking big might begin with the very next story we tell.